G'day, welcome to this series investigating Jesus Christ. Together we will explore the life of the most amazing person who ever lived, Jesus Christ of Nazareth. This is week 15. We're going to look at how did Jesus teach. This event in Capernaum was not a one-off occurrence. Frequently the writers of the Gospels remark how people viewed Jesus' teaching as authoritative. But what was it that made his teaching authoritative? Jesus' manner of teaching shared much in common with other teachers of first century Palestine. His teachings frequently included Old Testament references, exaggerated hyperbole, the telling of parables, rhythmic poetry, which all aided memorisation and the prediction of future events. All these were common teaching practices at the time of Jesus in both religious and secular circles. Most of the teaching we have recorded for us in the Gospel accounts of his life did not arise out of formal educational or religious settings, but rather through personal and informal encounters, engaging with the religious leaders and the inherent need to teach his disciples. However, it is not so much the manner of teaching that created the air of authority about him, but rather what he taught, which did. Matthew chapter 7, verses 28 to 29. Saying as he often did, "But I say to you," was in direct opposition to the method the rabbinical teachers of the day employed. This also caused astonishment and amazement from those who heard him. Additionally, Jesus often sat down to teach, and this signifies formal instruction, as was the custom at the time. So in what ways did Jesus teach? Through the Gospels, we see that Jesus spoke a lot in parable form. A parable is an allegory or a picture story. Why did he do it this way? He did it in this way in order to get his message across completely. These parables fall into four categories: society and its God. An example of this would be the parable of the sheep, Luke chapter 15 verses 1 to 7, whereby God is seen as a God of grace. Society and the future. An example here would be the parable of the great feast, whereby the future climax of the kingdom is clearly seen. Matthew chapter 25 verses 31 to 33. The society and the individual. An example of this would be the parable involving the rich fool who thought his wealth would make God love him more. Luke chapter 12 verses 13 to 21. And finally, for now, society and the community. An example here would be the parable of the Good Samaritan, whereby everyone is to show love, even for their enemies. Luke chapter 10, verses 25 to 37. That's it for this week. Next week, in week 16, we will start to look at what did Jesus teach. And come back every day to Partakers Podcasts to learn more about how you can live as a disciple of Jesus Christ in the 21st century. See you later.